So in the last video, I'd pretty much gotten my key poses down and I was ready for the breakdown. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. One thing that's probably important in a shot like this, where we've got a sequence, right? We've got a light, a heavy, or a light, a medium, and a heavy attack. It might be kind of intimidating to say, oh, I got to break down this whole shot. It might be easier to just look at it as three separate little shots. So that's kind of what I did here, and I started looking at this first shot. The first shot was already feeling pretty good in the last video. I just tweaked it a little bit, made sure that this arc was happening here, and maybe if I draw that, might be better. What I'm looking at is this attack I want to kind of happen this way, right? And before, if I change the color here, before the attack was just kind of tomahawking down like that. So that's really all I did here in this particular shot in terms of the breakdown. But now you can see it feels a lot better. It's now kind of coming straight across, and it feels pretty good. And then as far as the second attack goes, the second attack had her coming out of this and doing kind of a leap into the air, turning around, and then shooting at this point. And again, this isn't totally fully polished, but what I've got here is a pretty good breakdown in terms of the timing and of the poses. I've really got her twisted here in particular. You can see if I zoom in on this. This is probably not humanly possible, but I really tried to push that pose, because what I was trying for in this particular case is if we back up even just a little bit, as she leaps up, I'm really trying for that corkscrew, because I want to make this feel like a kind of a, winding up the spring before it's released. So again, if I start drawing here, what I was trying to do was the hips and the legs, I was trying to turn in this direction, whereas the torso, and particularly the head, she's really leading with the head here, I was trying to turn in this direction. So like I said, kind of winding up that spring. So I'll leave those arrows in place, although they'll be a little out of the way here. So I've got, at this point, I've got her kind of twisting that way. So you can see her pelvis is twisting this way, and the torso is twisting the other way. And particularly, at some point, the pelvis has to come with, and that's where I get this kind of really almost impossible angle. But you can see what I'm trying to accomplish. And it happens so fast that the eye really probably can't see the impossible part, and hopefully only sees this snap. Something that's kind of neat here is what we've got going on between frame 25 and 26. I'll just quickly illustrate that. I talk about shape change a lot. And what I've got there is kind of that C shape on frame 25. And on frame 26, we make a shape change. And what that does is it just kind of makes this animation visually interesting and appealing. In this case, I also kind of used it, because it does pop, it snaps. I also kind of used it to hopefully give impact to this second attack. And then we have her land, and we have her go into her third attack. And her third attack, I've got this kind of crazy special effect going that's just going to obliterate the opponent. But again, I think you can see from beginning to end, it's starting to feel much smoother than it did than the last phase. Okay, maybe you might remember from the very first video I was talking about, I don't care how awesome your attack is animated or how really cool it looks. If there's none any feedback, it's really just going to fall flat. And all I've done here is I've just put in kind of a training dummy here. But it does give some feedback. So she does this first attack and it hits our dummy and the dummy moves back. Now, this is just blocked in. I'm going to, tweak this a little bit just to give it a little bit more effect. But this is what I'm talking about. Every really good attack is going to require feedback in order for the impact to be felt. This whole sequence wouldn't be nearly as effective or impactful if I didn't have even just this training dummy in the shot. So I guess just some parting shots here is probably I should start off this animation. I have her in a neutral idle pose like this. I should probably start her off here in a combat idle pose. So we'll see. I may change that here in the next steps. And talking about next steps would be the polish. I need to go through and make sure everything's working and feels good and is smooth, and the things that need to pop. And that would be on our Lisa character, that would be on our training dummy here, and that would be on our camera, the FX portion, that kind of thing. And right now everything here is in auto tangent, which is to say all the animation is slowing in and slowing out, which is probably one of the most natural things in the real world. But in some of the things where I need the animation to pop, I can't have it slowing in and slowing out. So like, when the training dummy gets hit by an attack, it's not going to slowly go backwards, pick up speed, and then slow down. It's going to snap, right? So those are some things I have to look at. Well, that wraps it up for this video. In the next video, we'll show the finished shot, and we'll talk about what it took to get there.